Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Greiner and I'm here to explain your assignment for week 6. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and I'm going to go ahead and bring this down so I can see the pieces that I want. So I'm going to go back to lesson 10.1, which you did last week, and I'm going to start with page 10. I will go ahead and move myself down here. I don't know why I'm here, but I will, or maybe I'll get rid of myself. All right, so I'm on page 10 of lesson 10.01. And you were supposed to have done this last, like Monday and Tuesday for week 5. Now you're going to be focusing on what do immigrants value most about America. And this has the research notes graphic organizer. Now you should have submitted, or you should have done this graphic organizer, and you should have kept it safe. I told you that last week. So you should have restated the research question, look about sources and vocabulary, and write down some notes according to the things that you were reading last week. Alrighty, so that was that. Now, when you go for my progress, if you look at page 11, it talks about you're writing your informative text and what is necessary. Now, it talks about that you're going to be writing an introduction, one body paragraph, and a closing. Now, for us, we want you to make sure and do those multiple paragraphs. I do not want something submitted where it's just one paragraph. You need to be giving me actually 2 body paragraphs. So there'll be an introduction, body paragraph number 1, body paragraph number 2, and then the conclusion. So that was the little sandwich here, the introduction. You have your supporting details, and then you have your conclusion. And it talks here about informative writing. I'm not going to read all of this to you, but you can go over this again on lesson 10.1 from last week. And then last week, you were supposed to have written the introduction about what makes America a good place to live. Alrighty. And so you have the topic sentence, you have the controlling idea. You're going to look for facts that why a person would want to live in America, why America makes a good place to live, and then explain your fact. What is that controlling idea? So you have all that information there. So in this lesson, you should have started your introduction, have some ideas about that. Now in lesson 10.2, it says here that you have started your sandwich. You've done your introduction. That's what you did last week. This is also what you should have done last week, where you wrote your introduction and then you wrote your first body paragraph. And it talks about the immigrants' value about living in the United States, and tell about some facts and explanations about this. And you had 2 separate texts that you read last week, or should have read, Where I Belong and Making the United States My Home. Now you turned into me a comparing 2 text graphic organizer last week where there were similarities and differences between the 2 texts. Now you had your research notes organizer that you should have done also in lesson 10.1. And so you should have had that organizer done, and now you're writing that sloppy copy. I told you to keep that organizer so that you could write your sloppy copy. So this research notes graphic organizer, that was in lesson 10.1. Now, I believe I've gone through all the pages. Let me see. All right. If you look here, you have your what do immigrants value most about America? This is page 7 of lesson 10.2. Here was that graphic organizer that I just showed you a minute ago, where you have your question, you wrote notes in your own words. So you have that, you should have that research notes organizer done. All right, and this tells you what you should be doing, taking those notes. Then on page 8, you're organizing those notes. You have one controlling idea. What do immigrants value most about America? So you're developing your reasons of why immigrants value what they value about America and organizing your notes. Then on page 9, you're working on that sloppy copy. Now on lesson 10.1, you worked on the introduction. You were working on the first paragraph. All right, so there you go. And it talks about using 2 paragraphs to indent, or 2 fingers to indent. Make sure that you indent. All right, and then you're going to answer that question. What do immigrants value most about America? Talks about hooking your reader, using that research notes graphic organizer to help write your introduction. Okay, it gives you some ideas there. And you have your research writing sloppy copy. So here's your sloppy copy page, and that was on page, and let me review for you, that was on page 9 of lesson 10.2. So that research writing sloppy copy. Now you were supposed to have started that last week. That was not turned into me last week, the sloppy copy. Then on page 10, it talks about, you have your introduction to the sloppy copy written, and you're writing your first body paragraph. Now that is what you should have completed last week. Okay, so just wanted to review what you should have already done last week. Now what are you doing this week? What is going to be due with me for this week? So let me go back. All right, so I'm going to go here to page 5 on lesson 10.3. Now this week you have 3 days of Smarty Ants, and then you have 2 days of lesson 10.3. So you're doing the pages before this, 1 through 4. It has some different kinds of activities for you to do. Here you have those articles again, making the United States my home and where I belong. So this reviews over those articles that you've already read last week, but it brings those things back to your memory for your notes, okay? So that was page 5. Now I'm going to skip over to page 8. For page 8, it says now you're going to add your second body paragraph and your concluding paragraph to your sloppy copy. So they kind of review over the body paragraph again. And they talk about how the second body paragraph is another thing immigrants value about living in the United States. So you're actually going to tell me 2 things that immigrants value about living in the United States. And if you read those articles, they give several reasons why Americans value living in the United States. So finding 2 is easy. All right, so it tells you to go back to those notes that you took from these 2 articles, and you're looking at your graphic or your research notes graphic organizer. You're starting that second body paragraph using your notes from your research, organizer that you did. Then on page 9, it talks about the conclusion. So you're still on the sloppy copy. You should have done the introduction. You should have done the body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, and now the conclusion. So you should have a total of 4 paragraphs written for me. This talks about the conclusion, and you have that controlling idea. And then if you click on this tab, it talks about the concluding closing statement. And there you go. It gives you some information about that. So make sure that you read that. And then finally, on page 10, you're going to have to take that sloppy copy and now you're going to edit and revise it. And what does that mean? That means that you're going to click this tab to edit. We make sure we followed all of the rules for writing and doing a good writing to make sure it's easily to be read and understood. You're going to go through with a different colored pen. Oh my goodness, did I forget a capital letter? Did I forget a word? Did I forget any of my punctuation? Add those things in on your sloppy copy. And then finally, you want to publish that clean copy, that final copy. So here, the research writing clean copy, that's your final copy. This is what you're going to be doing and turning into me. It says use this template to help you write a clean copy answering the question you researched. Remember to use your best handwriting. What do immigrants value most about America? On this clean copy, I'm looking for paragraphs that have been indented. I need 4 paragraphs. I need to see capital letters at the beginning of sentences. I need to see punctuation. Now, the first time that you did one of these writing pieces for me, I was kind of lenient on it because it was your first time. But now it's your second time. So I'm really going to be watching and counting the points. Did you do your clean copy really correctly? So I want to see nice, neat handwriting. Notice that they've given you 3 pages to use for writing your clean copy. Here's your checklist. You're going to want to make sure and check, did I include all of these things? A title. Did I indent my paragraphs? You have to have an introduction, 2 paragraphs, and a conclusion paragraph, total of 4 paragraphs. Did you have a hook and a controlling idea in your introduction? Did your body paragraphs begin with topic sentences? Did you get your facts and details to support your controlling idea from the articles you read? Don't just make them up. They have to come from the article you read. And then restate your controlling idea in your concluding paragraph. And then add 1 additional sentence in your conclusion that is connected to your topic and creates a closure. Kind of wraps everything up. So that is what is due to me this week. The research writing clean copy. All right. So I wanted to go back over those 2 lessons you did last week because you should have started this last week. And then with this week, you're only doing 1 lesson. You're finishing up that sloppy copy, and then I'm doing the clean copy, and this is what you are submitting to me. All right. I hope this has helped you understand what is due to me this week on Friday. If I were you, I would kind of get it going a little earlier in the week so that I'm not pressured on Friday to do a lot of work. I would go ahead and get it started soon. All right. I hope you have a great week. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. All righty. Thank you. Bye-bye.